Greetings, welcome. My name is Lynn Hawkins, and you are in the zone, the Biz Info Zone. I'm the founder and dean of the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship, and I am so excited to greet you here today. I'm so excited I don't even have my lower third up, but that's okay because my guest is the amazing Joci James. And, before I get into explaining a little more about who my guest is, I just want to say that the zone, the Biz Info Zone, where you are right now, is the place where the savvy social entrepreneur gets to express their purpose, plan their next moves, and take their business, their life into prosperity. And it all has to do with the story that you're telling yourself, the story that you're in around your business, and how do you get to understanding your story, but to discover the best of you. And that's exactly what my guest is going to help you do today. So we're going to be talking about the 4Ds of discovering the best of you and why that's important for you. So right now, I want to introduce you to Joci James. Joci is a millennial. I'm sorry, a centurion. Well, almost. She's on her way. And you know what? She is making this look good. Do you know what I'm talking about? Those who are approaching that century mark, who are doing life in a big way and living their purpose, designing new businesses, doing their business in a way that impacts the world. And that's Joci James. She's got a colorful background that I'll let her tell you a little bit about. And she is just, my mom's no longer here on this earthly plane. But I have to tell you, if there was somebody that my mom was like, that I would have loved to have had this kind of experience with my mom, like, it would be like the relationship that I have with Joci James. Joci, say hello to our audience and welcome.
Thank you, Lynn. It's so good to be here. And I'm so happy to be able to share some of my experiences so that maybe it will help to elevate your life and you can achieve your dreams. And I call my business the Life Strengths Detective. I've coined that simply because I feel like that we are on a journey to discover ourselves. So I got this name for myself, the Life Strengths Detective, because what we do in the 4Ds of discovering yourself, and that's the introductory course, we take an assessment to really uncover what is the best of you.
Beautifully said, because it is the best of you is what's inside of you, our inner strengths and the inner beauty, the inner makeup, the story that we hold in ourselves that comes out as we're being ourselves. And Joci, you just expressed that so beautifully. I love the hat and the magnifying glass because you are, life strengths are what we look to understand most of our lives, and you being the detective helping us to find those, it's just amazing. So tell us a little bit about how you got on this journey. What were things like for you in your life that now you're looking at helping people to really discover the best of what they are, who they are?
Well, I think it began after I was like in my 50s. I was divorced and I had always been a housewife and mother. Those days we did that. That was in the 70s. And so my strengths started showing up in ways that I had never expected them to. And it's not wasn't accidental, but they just sort of fell in my lap in a way, but of course it took a long time to really see those in action. And my first experience was just in those days we were Mrs. We weren't really a person in a way, because we really didn't have many rights, even though we'd had that the rights given to women for voting many years before, to be able to get credit in a woman for a woman in those days was very, very hard to do. So my innovation and creativity and a few other of my strengths showed up when I went over to the bank. Had known the banker for a long time, done all of the family business, and asked him if I could borrow $500. And he said, sure. And he issued all that out. And I said, now I want to pay you back. And he said, why? And I said, because I need credit in my name and I cannot get a gasoline credit card. And he says, well, okay. So from then on, I started, having little inklings of things. I had no idea any of those traits and strengths were inside me that helped me to travel on my journey to be able to make a living for myself. So I just followed my instincts of what I'd always liked to do, not ever having all of this information from self development that I started after I was 60 to improve and redo Josie. Those were just inklings that started to show up. And because I had an outgoing personality, I went toward anything that had to do with being in sales. My first opportunity was in real estate because I'd always done our family negotiations with real estate. I could not. I always thought I was dumb because my brother instilled that in me, and I believed him. When I was in the third grade, it was his job to teach me to multiply, and he would put the problem in front of us, do it, and then wad the paper up and throw it away and say, "Now do it." And I was just frozen. So from, I guess, about 8 years old until I started to take the real estate test, I just knew that I was just too dumb to do anything that had anything to do with figures. In those days, we couldn't use a calculator, so we had to do it in our head. And it took me 3 times to pass the real estate test. And my 8-year-old was learning multiplication as I was learning them. I hated every minute of it, but I knew that it was a means to an end. So as I look back, I see different things that I did that was instinctive, and yet it was a real struggle because I knew I just had in my head from different things that people have said that I took on as the truth that I was dumb and that I couldn't do anything that had to do with math. There were certain things you just couldn't do. And so I'll be 88 in June. And after I'm gone through all of these years, I've looked back and realized how strong I was had I known that I had these wonderful inner strengths inside me. I would have had much more self confidence and be able to achieve in a whole lot faster way. So then it became a realization to me that there must be other people that doubted themselves and
Mm-hmm.
had struggles. And a lot of times, and I think particularly in this age, we put on a big front outside, but we wouldn't ever let anyone know that we have some doubts. And certainly, all of this age group has been exposed to many, many ways to achieve, and have been the opportunity to have all this available for them. However, most of the time, I believe that your age experience has been through business assessment. And what I instill on people is to take a personal signature strengths that is your inborn strengths, so that you can rely on those to come to your aid when you are starting to do an activity or project and you get stuck. And just call on some of your, I call it a team. It's your inner strengths team. And then also we learned that our fingerprint is our individual strength. I call it your forever stamp, because you have a stamp and an imprint that nobody else has, so that you can have an influence that no one else has as well.
Josie, that is so very well said. the signature our friend and mentor, Cynthia Gardner O'Neill, talks about the heart being the signature strength of you. And that is part of where your inner strength comes from. And it's recognized in your fingerprint and is a reminder to us about our uniqueness, because that fingerprint is something that we can see. And I know, that there are so many people who would just continue to say, I know that I've done this kind of stuff in the past, but I'm here now, and it's so hard for me to think about doing something in the thing differently, something that makes me step out of my box or shift the paradigm. Yet you talk about how it is that you have to have a belief in yourself. Tell us a little bit about what that means and where that comes from for you.
Well, in my course that I've written, this is the 4Ds of discovering you. It's the introductory course. We talk about the discovery. And first of all, you want to unfold all those gifts and learn which are yours individually. You may not think quite a few of them, but some of them may be lurking down under. So we do a treasure hunt and discover all of them. Then you pick out some of them to use just for the experience of the course. And then we go into the second D, and that one is to define. You really want to have a clear picture of what it is that you're working with. It's like you're building a house, and you've got your foundation, but you want to know what are you going to do with this foundation? How many rooms is it going to have? All of the structure of it. You're doing the same thing with your life path. You're drawing a picture, and we use mind maps to do that as well. And then the third D is about um, your you're designing. You're going to design it. That's where the mind map comes in again. You'll design your course. And we use just an example of one project, one activity, but of course, it's a template that you can use for any project that you want to achieve. And then the fourth one is to deliver it. You're going to deliver whatever it is that you have decided that that's going to be your project. And we have the tools and tips for delivery. And as I look back on my life and all the struggles that I've had, that sort of happened with me, but with many years of struggle and doubt. And I see where I call it a golden thread that ran through my story. And those things were the high points of achievement. And I really didn't give myself enough credit for it. I just kept going and struggling and pushing and pulling and doing all the things that sort of beat up my body and caused some physical angst and challenges. But it's the story that I led. However, what I'd like to see for you is for you to be able to achieve with ease, and that comes with knowing yourself, being clear about what it is you love to do. I just heard that David Bullock previously on Lynn's um, uh, show, I guess you'd call it. And he was talking about, I've got all these talents. I'm good at this, I'm good at that, but do I love it? And then, of course, the question I have, and I really haven't solved it yet, is that there are some things that I really feel are necessary to do, which one biggie is the technical side of things. And that has really been a big challenge for me. Of course, I lean on this, I guess, excuse that I wasn't born in that age. And so my brain is not wired that way. See, I'm telling myself these stories, which working with Lynn and helping me, she's just a whiz in the technical area. I found that I can do this, and it's a necessary thing for me to do in order to get where I'm going. So, sometimes we have challenges and we think, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm not good at that. I don't love it. But you become to love the achievement. You become to love what what it is that it happened because you were able to overcome this roadblock because you have these inner strengths that are helping you along in every step.
Beautiful. Now, we've got some people out here who are following in the conversation on the comments, in the comments. And I want to just kind of give you a little boost with what it is that's being shared out here. Sheila Finkelstein is here. And she says, I love the Sherlock Holmes image Josie's using and the smiling that she's doing. And Cynthia Gardner O'Neill, Joci, this is soul, and I love the way she says this, soul inspiring. Um, Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Sheila. And Aileen Boundy says, Joci James rocks. It's so great to see you here because people are recognizing that, when you get to a certain age, we've been conditioned to stop, to think about, well, is what else am I supposed to do? I know that one of my aunts retired from the job that she loved, and she was in education administration. And within 3 short years, she died. She could not see beyond what her value was that she could bring to the world. And, I want to say that even where my mom was concerned, that she really was in the stage of retirement. And in that retirement, she decided she was going to take care of her grandkids and just keep her house and whatever else she did. What I realized was that my mom saw retirement as another opportunity as well, and she formed the first Presbyterian pastors council that was open to other pastors in the city where she lived, and she founded it, and it's still going on now. And she retired from it after 5 years of doing it. And I was like, why retire? Don't you? She's like, no, they're crazy people. And I've had enough of that. So it's important to know too when to move on, when you want to pour your strengths into something else. And she hadn't defined that. And I think that was one of the things that kind of took her on a downward spiral. So to see you doing what you're doing now is so inspiring. Cynthia also says how inspiring it is, no way, 88 years old. Oh my God, you're so amazing and doing what you're doing. And it is truly courageous. And that's what you're trying to teach others, to live in the courage of seeing, because of your inner strengths, what it is that you can do. And then you've brought a method to doing that. I love the whole golden thread, and I could picture that. But why don't you take a moment and explain what you really mean about that golden thread, what it weaves through and brings to bear as far as a potential accomplishment?
Well, I guess it goes back to, just things just happening as an inkling because, like I said, didn't have an education. I felt I had no skills, and I just sort of reached out and grabbed for things I was interested. Like I said, I'd done our home purchases and different real estate things. So that led me to think I really liked real estate, and I liked people. I liked meeting people. So that was a fit for me. And that then I went on to interior design. I love to redo houses and remodel houses. I wound up in I like to say I went from Paris, Texas to Beverly Hills with my journey because I was in Paris, Texas with my husband, and we had a section ranch, and then the drought hit, and we were really in a bad straits because we were 40 miles out in the country and they redid our road. We couldn't get in or out. And my little 3-year-old and I packed our bags, got a wagon with a horse, and they pulled us out of there, and we never went back. But we did have an experience there, and I felt like that really. I felt like a pioneer woman doing all of that. And then eventually, after 25 years of marriage, like I said, always wanted to live in California because I'd been there right at the beginning of World War II, and I said I never got that salt air out of my system. So I moved there and was in Pacific Palisades and Santa Monica. I think it's the most beautiful place in the whole United States. And that I was in real estate there for a while, remodeled houses at the same time there on the coast. And then interest rate went up to 18%. Things just happen to move you on. And like you said, you have to know when to fold them. You know when to
Oh,
hold them, and you know when to fold them. And so that's what happened with the in real estate. There wasn't any loans, so I had to go somewhere else. And I had a friend who was in the movie business, and and actually he was doing educational movies, but he did have a lot of friends in Beverly Hills that were their husbands were, I mean, they were in with him doing different things, and their wives, two of them, had skincare salons in Beverly Hills. And he says, "This is what I call one of those uh, compliments, and yet a pretty big blow." He said, "Why don't you follow that? Why don't you go and get your license to be an esthetician and do makeup?" He said, "If people could see you without your makeup, they would really think you're good." So I'm thinking, oh, you hurt my feelings. And then I look back and think, oh, he did me such a favor because eventually I did wind up in Beverly Hills with a skincare business. And because I was there, I really learned how to really treat skin, not just put creams on and take them off. I learned how to treat skin. So that I became very expert at doing that. Then I had a little another thing happened to make me move on. I was had fibromyalgia and got really in extreme pain. Decided I should move back to Texas with my family. Moved to an area just out of Dallas that was really just beginning to grow in the technical area and was really booming. And so I set up myself in a skincare salon and a business and built my business up so big I could hardly keep track of it and was working 8-10 hours a day. And so that was my background for really understanding women, particularly in that we have been conditioned to think our outer beauty is the most important thing. But what I learned was, and of course I started in during all that time with personal development of myself. And so what I learned was that we have so many inner strengths. So then it became really a reality for me that it's important that I go in another direction and help people to learn how about their greatness and their purpose in life. And so that's when I started the Life Strengths business.
and so what an amazing story. I just, every time I hear bits and pieces of your story, I just see another part of you. And the way that you tell your story, it's so colorful and enlightening and inspiring. And even more than that, to know that your story, you're moving through your life's journey, helped you to understand some of the things that you're bringing to the world now and teaching others about. Tell us a little more about what learning your inner strengths can reveal to you.
Well, I think what it can do is bring out your inner greatness. And I think so oftentimes we're taught as children not to be, brag on ourselves or you know, don't be a smart aleck or any of those things and act like you think you're the cock's meow or whatever they used to call it. Cat's meow, not cocks, cat's meow. But at any rate, yeah, any rate, that takes a big switch in understanding that we all are great. We all have tremendous value. However, we look at it like we've got to learn to be um, an attorney, a chemist, a doctor, anything that has a title that becomes us. And what, as David Bullock was talking about, we are not what we do. We are who we are. And that's a whole big difference in the way to look at things. And so, what I'm really about is helping people to bring out their inner strengths. And, it's like, raising a child, helping it to walk, helping it to take the next step. You're the guide of your own destiny. So, if you are, then it's really good to know where you're going. And it's like the old saying, if you don't know where you're going, then you may end up where you don't want to be. And so that's what we want to try to avoid in just sort of, somebody offers you a job at a certain salary and you think, oh, well, that sounds good. And you take it without even knowing whether it's a fit for you, whether you will love being there every day. You're just there for the money. And that really does not sweeten your heart, I guess you'd have to say. Doesn't make a, for you to enjoy your life. And every day you're spending 8-10 hours in that place. So it's good to have that plan before you make a choice.
I love that. And the fact that you're talking about, being on this journey, you have to know where you want to be. And the same thing applies to you knowing who you are and really identifying those inner strengths, helping you to see, first off, who you've been, then who you are, because that's who's going with you into the future. And if the who that you are doesn't match with your future, there's some things that have to be done there. And I know that you cover some of this stuff in the 4Ds to discovering the best of you. And you've talked about the discover part and doing the assessment. What are some of the things that the assessment will actually bring out? Are there specific strengths? Are there category? I mean, what does that actually look like?
Well, it's called your signature strengths, and that's just simply because, as the fingerprint, hardly anyone has a. I don't know if anyone that has the same signature you do. So that's your identification. And what happens is that when you take that assessment, it reveals to you. I think it's like 32 different inner strengths you have, and it also gives you what are your top ones, and you can keep the all of them in your file cabinet, your documents, or wherever you want to put them, and pick them up and use them as you need. It's good to know, but your first 5 or 6 of them are really the ones you'll use most frequently. And those have probably always shown up in your life. But maybe you might have either disowned them or just put them aside thinking, oh, I really don't want to do that, as far as being creative or any of the strengths that might have shown up for you. Because the left and the right brain thing. People have told you you have, you're left or you're right. You're a focused person, or you're a person that likes a variety of things. And maybe that's not true. That may be not all totally true. Um, so those are things I think that when you do take the assessment, that will reveal to you, and then taking ownership of them, really knowing that yes, I can do this because I have this, whatever strength it is. My top strength is woo, and that just simply means winning others over. And that was just inborn in me. That across my whole life. I never saw a stranger, and I always thought, okay, my mom was the same way. I inherited it from her, and yes, I probably did. But on the other hand, that strength has served me well, because I've been able to open many doors that maybe some other people might not have, because of fear, because of thinking, oh, I don't really like to meet new people, all of these kinds of things that come across your thinking head instead of coming from your heart.
Oh my gosh. And isn't that the truth? Whether you're left brain or right brained, when you're thinking from your head more than from your heart, you can tend to get yourself off track. And so, with that said, that takes you from, those who are in the space of feeling empty because they don't know what their signature strengths are. They don't know even where they want to go in life. You ask them, what's your dream for your future, and they don't even have that. How do you help them with understanding these unique strengths, how they can then build their dream?
Well, I think
Just
what happens is that once those are revealed, then you can look at, let's really think about what it is you've always wanted to do, and had this roadblock put up in front of you saying, no, 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 you can't do that. Just look at that and really examine what would it take, what are the tools it would take to take action on those steps. And with each step you get more courage, and with building the mind map you start with, okay, let's see, I want to, and you put it at the very end of your map. And like oh, I forget what his name is, said to start with the end in mind. You
Stephen
look at,
Covey.
yeah, Stephen Covey.
Hmm.
Come to me, Stephen Covey. You would look at that and you think, okay, let's start with one step. Let's pick out one strength that I have that would help me to get to at least a start. I'm going to build this foundation with this one thing. Like with me, it was the fact that had no fear of meeting people. So I looked at doing anything that had to do with sales with very little fear, because I knew that I could probably out talk my way out of anything, But at any rate, but it took a lot more skills than that, of course. But when you are, and with each skill, with each achievement comes strength. And that's when you start building your greatness. And then also thinking about, if you're not doing it for yourself, then do it for others. When you start giving and being able to share your gifts, then's when you really get the non-monetary value, which strengthens you, and you're able to do more and more and more. And then the monetary will come to you. Whatever it is that you need to take care of yourself will come to you naturally. And that's so much more of a pleasant way to get through your journey, and cover your self with a home and all the things you need to take care of the necessary things in your life. And so that's what I think. In talking about not being comfortable, there was so much of my life that I felt that if I was here, I wanted to be there. If I was there, I wanted to be here. And so I was always not comfortable until I found out my inner strengths and how much I had, how much value I had. And that greatness, feeling my greatness, made me feel at home wherever I was. Are you there, Lynn? I think we've gotten cut off. Hello? Lynn? Well, I don't know if everyone else is gone or not, but since I have no fear, I'll just keep talking. You may not want to hear it, but I will keep talking. Hello? 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 Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Then
Joci, I'm back.
I'm here.
I don't see you. You're not in your chair.
I'm
I'm
here.
here.
Hello.
Hello.
You see me?
Oh, there you are.
Good.
Yeah, for some reason you were out of for me for a minute.
I know. You just went away.
Yes, my connection is looking crazy right now. I even tried to get on with my hotspot and it wouldn't let me do that either. But
Oh,
I am back. We are still broadcasting.
Okay, you just kept talking. I don't know where it went off.
Where did we leave off? I'm just going to ask you a new question, and then we can pick up and I'll edit the recording and we'll go from there.
Okay.
How's that?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so let me just take a look here real quick. And oh, oh, are you there?
I see you. Yes.
Okay, okay. Um, it looked like it had gone away on me again. All right, let me do this. Set myself up here so I can see what's going on. And then here, the next question I'm going to ask you is, okay, how can, wait a second, let me just take a breath. And then the video break is, and then I will ask you this next question. So Joci, how can understanding the 4Ds of discovering the best of you help you feel like you've gone from a place of not enough to a place of more than enough?
Well, I think because when you,
Wait a second. You're in here twice and you're actually showing up twice. So just close one of the browsers.
okay. I think it's still echoing. No?
They're both things.
No, okay. All right, I only have Google Hangouts up.
So you've got Google Hangouts up twice.
I do.
Mm-hmm. And if you look at the top,
Yeah.
you'll see Google Hangouts. Do you see it twice? 2 tabs?
No.
Well, whichever one you're looking at, close that one out.
Okay, I think that did. Maybe? No.
Not yet. Just whichever one you're looking at, close that one out.
Okay. No.
Nope, that's the X up at the very top. Actually, uh-oh.
I see you, the picture of you.
Okay, now you are gone. Okay, there you are. So whichever one is left is not showing your picture. Both of them had your picture in it at first.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? I'm going to get you to close out. What are you seeing now?
I see Google Hangouts and in Explorer, which I don't think really worked.
Okay, that's what happened. So close that one out. Use the red telephone and close that one out. And then, you copied the link, open up another Firefox browser link and paste the link in there, and let's get you in again. Okay? Oh, well, I am still broadcasting. I apologize for what's going on here. What we're going to end up doing is re recording and ending to the show. But in the meantime, I would love for everyone to know that Joci has a course that she is offering. And as a gift to our audience, she was going to offer a one-page outline of discovering the 4Ds to discovering the best of you, with an invitation to take her course, which is the 4Ds introductory course. And in that course, you're not only going to discover the 4Ds, but she's going to gift you the assessment and spend some time going through the assessment with you. And that is truly to help you to understand what your inner strengths are. Understanding your inner strengths is where she does the best work in helping you to define what it is that you'd like to see for your purpose, design, or for your future, design what you'd like to see. And she's got this all mapped out. It is beautiful. And then she coaches you in a methodology to deliver on what it is that you've designed, and then celebrate, because celebrating the course means that you've completed outlining this and building your strategy. And from there, you get to move on into creating it by taking the empowered actions that she's going to tell you about. So do hang around with us for Joci's course information. It'll be posted out in the comments box. And then we're going to also post when the other piece of the video is done, because one of the things that I would love for Joci to do is actually to take one more opportunity to walk you through what those 4Ds of discovering the best of you really are. And here she's come back. Oh, how
I
wonderful.
got lost.
You're back. Well, welcome back. I was just actually wrapping things up into telling people about the course, the introductory course, about the one-page gift that we're going to make sure that everyone gets. But if you could just take some time and walk through what those 4Ds of discovering the best of you are, that would be amazing. Please.
Sure.
Okay.
The 4Ds are, as I had said before, the first one is it's very necessary. It's your foundation to discover the best of you. And you discover the best of you by really looking at your signature strengths. The assessment, the signature assessment reveals over 32 of your individual unique inner strengths. And what we do with just this course is to take those strengths and look at the first top four. What are the top four? And with those, we take those as your discovery and go to the next step, which is your defining step. And that's the next second D. And when you're defining, you're really taking those discoveries of, and yes, they may not be all discoveries, but you may not have seen them in this way of your uniqueness, and really given them credit for being you, for you having this one particular, four particular strengths that is a signature of you, your fingerprint. And like what I like to call it is your forever stamp. It's the unique stamp that you have that you put on everything you do. And that's what you want to look at as your inner strength that helps you to share with others your greatness. And defining this process is just like you would do most any other project, except knowing all the time that these are your unique ones. And you're doing this as if you're building a house. You're starting your foundation. That's what strengthens you throughout whatever it is that you're taking on as your project that you want to achieve. You're looking at your what you would really like to achieve, not what you would like to have if, but what you will have by using your inner strengths. And these will help you to build anything you want to. You can build a boat, you can build an airplane, but you can also build something that you can share with others, whether it's a book or whether it's your unique strength in art, whatever you find that you always wanted to do, but maybe you didn't have this, I guess you might say, fuel behind you to be able to propel yourself to your success. And the next one 4D is your design, and that design is what you're going to take from, I want to say, your end results back to the starting point of your mind map that you will make. That will you will take small steps or however you want to do it, but it's not anything you need to rush. You will work through your heart. You will understand what it is that you are and your greatness and how you can share it with others. And so that understanding and clarity is going to be your fuel to help you to get through your path that you want to go. And it's not just getting through it, it's enjoying each step.
Mm.
Then, once you get this designed, you will be able to deliver. And you can do that with whatever process you have chosen to get that out to the world. And it's just not just, your family, or, you're painting a picture just to have it in your home. You are painting this picture to share with others, and it has great value, as you do. And those are the things that you can rely on that will help you to navigate through this path.
Beautifully said. And I think that the entire process, if nothing else, really solidifies and confirms that we have value, that our inner strengths, seeing our inner strengths, getting to know our inner strengths will reveal to us the value that we do bring to the world. And that is just so beautiful, whether you're an artist or someone who wants to start your own business or write a book. I love the way that you brought some of those stories into this. You can accomplish going from feeling that you're not equipped to the feeling of being fully equipped when you know your strengths. And Joci, you in such an amazing way. I've taken the assessment. I actually looked at my total list of strengths, and those top four really do define me. They really gave me an ability to stand on that knowledge and build more self confidence in myself. So I thank you for that. And I'd like to encourage everybody out there who's looking at, I'm doing this amazing work in the world, but if you have ever asked yourself the question, or doubted yourself in any way, asking the question, who am I to bring this important work to the world? Who am I to do what I'm doing? How can I? Or, as many of us do, we're transitioning from, maybe a corporate job or retiring, and we're thinking, maybe I don't know enough. Taking this course, I have to say, is going to be the confirmation that you have enough and that your strengths are what they are to support you in getting to the place of delivering. Again, Joci said it can be a project or it can be in your life to build better relationships. You will have a much better opportunity to bring yourself to that place of accomplishment. So, Joci, as we're wrapping up the show today, please do me a huge favor and give, one thought that wraps things up here to our audience.
Well, I think as I approach the era that I'm in, my 80th uh, part of my life, and thinking about, that it's winding down. However, then I can turn right around and say, the things that I am doing, I have learned to do because I researched and had the I guess I was curious, and I wanted to learn what was the most important thing I could do. And I would hear this thing about leaving a legacy, and you kind of, or at least I did, kind of poo poo that idea and think, oh, well, I really don't have anything to leave. And then you become aware of I mean, I'm hoping that people will become aware of these things 30, 40 years before I did, and know and realize how much time they have left to make a difference in the world. And that's what I think is your legacy, is the things that you may have done to make a difference in people's lives, whether it be the grocery boy that comes to your helps you with your groceries, or whether it's the banker that I went to that helped me, or whether it's you see someone on the street that's having problems and you assist them. It's the giving of each step you take and helping other people to have a more joyous, comfortable, and serene life.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Joci, for being here and sharing with our audience today. My apologies for the technical difficulties for you and to our audience. I so appreciate you hanging with us and hanging around. And I just shared the link so that you can join us in the after show. Again, thanks for today. This has really been great with my friend and mentor, Joci James, your life strengths detective, teaching you about the 4Ds of discovering you. My name is Lynn Hawkins, and you're in the zone. It's called the Biz Info Zone, where the savvy social entrepreneur really gets to get the information, the tools, the strategies from those like Joci who are sharing their heart and their work so that you can plan your next moves, express your purpose, and take your business and your life into the realm of prosperity and share that yourself. So until next time, thanks again for joining us. We'll see you on the other side. Come on in and hang out with us for a bit. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.